Hello, everybody. This is going to be a quick introduction to the All or Nothing Lock Studio. The first part is going to be found in this bank account try locking class, and you're going to build try to transfer money, and it's going to pass you an account that has a lock object for you, the sender and the recipient, and some amount of money to transfer. You're going to acquire that lock. If you look at this, not acquire it, you're going to access the lock from the account and then attempt to acquire the lock with the try lock method, which if it can get it, it gets it, it acquires it, and returns true. If it can't acquire, it returns false. So you're going to try to get the sender and try to get the receiver. If you get them both, then actually transfer the money. You can call this function over here transfer utils, the old check, balance, and transfer, which is not thread safe, but you will hold both locks, so it will be you'll make it thread safe. And so no matter what you do, if you can do it, return what that transfer utils, check, balance, and transfer returns. That's fine if you get them both. If you don't get them both, make sure you return that you're unable to attempt it at this time, so that everybody knows whether or not it worked or not. As always, whenever you're doing anything with a lock, you be sure to use try finally. There's a couple examples down here that sort of show using this. So this is a nice mechanism. Just try to transfer the money and tell me how it went. Like, you should always provide that sort of thing whenever you're building something like this. So this would be sort of one way to deal with it, is someone would call transfer the money, like just do it. I'm happy to have you have a non-deadlock attempt to do it, but I'm going to expect this function to actually have transfer the money when you come back. And this is sort of a nice utility function to also provide. They'll send it, and what this function does is, has the same thing. Here's the sender, here's the recipient, here's the amount. And this is what I want you to do if it fails, right? So while we're waiting, right? So like, it'll spin and just keep trying. So this is the just keep on trying version, where it's like tries to transfer the money. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, excuse me, it did work. Let's just return it. Otherwise, I'll run whatever failure action you want, then try again. And so you could sleep, you could do some work that you had lying around to do in the meantime. It's just sort of a way in which to make use of this time while it's waiting. This is sort of an interesting default that I contemplated not sending or not including, but it's kind of a nice default. It's like, all right, so like if sort of a default thing was like just transfer the money already, right? You might just acquire both locks and do ordering in this case rather than use try locks. There's nothing wrong with lock if you absolutely have to have it, right? But this would be one way to do it, is to say, okay, so what I'm going to do is sort of a nice default is, all right, you can do this try locking if you want to keep from deadlocking. Try to transfer the money, and by default, if it's interrupted, or by the way, it's been canceled, let's cancel. Otherwise, we'll just yield. So you'll yield to the operating system. This thread will give up its time. That's sort of an interesting default. Like I said, the focus here is for you to build this, but these two examples sort of give you an example of how the just keep on trying utility would go.